I've had a lot of people reach out to me lately about cruising and one, how Ellis and I go on so many cruises, how we do it for so cheap, why that's our number one source of vacationing and why we choose to do it so often. And then like how do we get discounts and prices that we do or even free offers. So I kind of wanted to do like a financial breakdown of everything because the crazy thing about cruising is it's great because yes, it's all inclusive in their advertised price, but the thing about it is their price is only per person for the entire cruise, and all that it really includes is all your food and your basic drinks. But the things that are kind of nickel and dime, if you will, afterwards is you're going to have extra taxes and port fees on top of your week per person ticket price that kind of break down to about $15 to $30 on average per person per day. That's on top of the advertised cruise fare. You're also going to have gratuities, which on average with Royal Caribbean specifically are about $18 per person per day on your cruise as well. And that's not even if you want to get extras like internet or a deluxe drink package if you're someone that likes to enjoy like an alcoholic beverage or several on your cruise ship. All of those things are going to be extra. And so that's not the so much included part of it, but I wanted to break down how we do it and how we get some of our great deals. I do want to start by saying that not all cruise lines and cruise ships are created the same. My husband and I have actually enjoyed cruising since we first got married, and we actually started doing a lot of Carnival cruises early on in our marriage, which there's nothing wrong with Carnival. We really liked Carnival in that season. It was one of the more affordable cruise lines, and it's also known as like the fun ship. So for us being on a budget and wanting that young crowd fun time vibe, like it was a great starter cruise for us. We used to go back then. We would try to do a cruise every year, but financially we really would only do like a cruise maybe every other year if we were lucky. And then over time, we kind of explored multiple cruise lines as well. We've actually tried Carnival, Royal Caribbean, Princess, Holland America, and Norwegian. And then I've also done a Disney cruise for a weekend as a kid. So those are all the cruise lines that I've been in. And for the purposes of this video, because Royal Caribbean has become our current favorite cruise line, mainly because of the atmosphere, their specific Oasis classed and up cruise ships, like those are our favorite, and the service in general. Like literally you can be sitting in a pool and someone will just keep bringing you drinks, keep saying what do you need, and just the fun atmosphere of all the crew and the people that you meet. Like we've just fallen in love with Royal. So my financial examples are going to be based on their prices for the sake of this video, and just as a starter baseline for the favorite type of class that we like, we love the Oasis size class ships of Royal Caribbean, which they're known to have some of the largest ships in the world of any of the cruise lines. But Oasis class ship and up, like all the way up to like Icon and Star, which is their newest, are our favorites. And some of those older Oasis class ships, like examples would be like Oasis, Allure, Wonder. And if you were to go online right now per person, you'd be paying around $1,200 to $1,300 per person before your gratuities, before your taxes and port fees, before your drink package, before your internet, before any of that. So you'd be spending about $2,400, $2,500, $2,600 on just your two-person ticket for that whole maybe 7-day cruise. So all of my savings is going to be based on that example. Okay, now that we kind of have an average of what a normal cruise price per person would be in that kind of Oasis class and up on the earlier ships. Now, mind you, the newer ships are going to be more. So if you were to book like Icon right now, it would be more like $1,900 to $2,000 per person just for your tickets before drink package, internet, or anything. So that $1,200 to $1,300 example was just for the lower level starting on the class that we like. Now you can go on older ships like Mariner of the Seas and stuff like that for probably a little bit even better deal, because there's literally, especially when I mentioned Carnival earlier, there were cruises that we went on for 7 days where we only paid like $450 per person for the week, which was great. So I'm just basing it on the cruises that we like for the sake of this budget to show you how much money that we're saving. Now I'm gonna throw a statistic at you. There was a report or a survey, if you will, from Club Wyndham in 2000, I think it was like the end of 2023, where they reported that the average person spent $4,600 per person annually on their combined vacation. So like if that was 2 people then that's over $9,000 a year. Now I went further to ask and see how many days that was, and on average those people were just vacationing 11 days out of the year. They had hoped that they could get it up to 15 days in 2024. They had hoped that they could go from 11 days to 15 days with that same budget, and they really hoped to get it up to 18 days if they had like unlimited PTO. That same Club Wyndham survey also reported that the average family spends about 5% of their combined gross income on vacation. So if you're not doing that, maybe that's something you should think about, because at the end of the day, like, budgeting is important and doing what you love is important. And as long as you're budgeting for things that bring you joy, you should do those things and maybe do less of the things that you're spending money on that isn't bringing you joy. So be generous with your money and steward your money. And then with your budgeting for travel, for example, do the things that you love. And that's what this video is about. Is this an example of how we get to do what we love more and how we really get to stretch our dollar? So the crazy thing about that survey too is it said the average person was only vacationing 11 days out of the year. My example is based on us vacationing on average 30 days out of the year on cruising specifically, and we literally have that same budget. So we vacation twice as much as the average person who was spending $4,600 a year, but we're budgeting on average about $10,000 a year for our budgeting, but we're cruising for 30 days out of the year. And when I say that number, I'm including everything. I'm including the taxes and port fees, the ticket prices if there's any. We're talking about what we spent in the casino to get our status. We're talking about all the internet that we had, all the gratuities that we paid, all the drink packages if we bought any. This is everything, you guys. And so if you can vacation that much for that amount and it's still within your budget or like a percentage of your income, then at the end of the day, I call that a win, and I want y'all to be able to do the same thing. So I wanted to share with you how we're able to do that. If you go back to what I told you about how much the daily ticket prices were on those earlier Oasis class ships being $1,200 to $1,300 a person, you'd only get to do like 1.5 cruises to be within that $10,000 budget, because at the end of the day, if you're getting the drink package and the internet on top of those ticket prices, 2 cruises is going to eat up all your budget. And so you're maybe vacationing 10 to 14 days out of the year. Now, how we've done this, doing it 30 days out of the year, I'm gonna tell you. So what we learned from a friend at the end of 2023 is we were cruising on Wonder, and we learned about how to get casino status on Royal Caribbean's in the casino. And we're not even really big gamblers, but when we realized that you could kind of set a budget and hit a status in the casino, and then they start sending you free offers, we were like, we're all about that, because we cruise a lot, and financially it just made total sense to us to take advantage of that. So what we did, the first time that we got the status, it only lasts for about 18 months unless that changes. So recently when we cruised on Icon, we actually went to the casino specifically to re-up our casino status, and we did it with a plan. We actually had ChatGPT ask us we had ChatGPT tell us like where we should focus our time. And it does say that you need to stick to the slots, because the table games, it's hard to calculate points on the table games, because it really depends on how much you're playing, who's at the table, how much you're spending. It's just too many variables, versus the slots. It's really like every $5 is 1 point. Now, the crazy thing is you don't have to spend $7,500 in the casino to get your status, because on average, if you're moving around right, like if a slot isn't working for you and move on to the next, like you're gonna win on one versus you may not win on another. So we had set ourselves a budget of like $200 a night on that cruise, which for our total budget for the week in the casino was $1,200. And on our mind, that was going to be paying for future free cruises. So that was perfect for us, because we actually ended up getting our status. So we didn't spend $7,500, we spent $1,200, and we actually got our status, meaning that we would win on some of the machines, and some of our winnings we were spending. So not all of the money we were spending was ours. Some of it was Royal Caribbean's, because we won some money, we lost some money, we won some money, we lost some money. As long as we were within our $200 budget a night and hitting our status, then you start getting your free offers in the mail, and then you start booking them. So a lot of my friends noticed we started cruising a lot more often, and literally almost every cruise that we go on, besides Icon this year, that was not one of our free offers. We actually paid for that one, but I'll show you how I budget extra for things like that. All of the cruises that we go on are free offers, meaning we don't pay that ticket price. So that number that I told you where most people pay $1,200 to $1,300 a person, that's the free offer that we're getting. So on these cruises that we're going on, all we pay is taxes and port fees, which are on average $15 to $30 per person. So what I did was I took the 30 days and I took that taxes and port fees average and I came up with an amount which is $1,800. So that's our annual spend on what we spend on our 30 days of cruises. Now we might go on 3 7-day cruises, we might go on 7 4-day cruises. How we break it down kind of depends on the offers that we get, because not every offer is a 7-day cruise and not every offer is a 3-day cruise. And sometimes there's certain ports that we like to cruise out of. And so our itinerary and how we schedule and book is kind of dependent on that. We actually really like to cruise out of Miami because we stay at the Elster Hotel. It's perfect because it's close to the port, it's a cheap Uber, and it's just perfect for lining up cruises, and they have a banging pool on the rooftop and everything. So I'm gonna tell you how we break down that $10,000 budget. $1,800 is all we're spending on taxes and port fees for the 30 days that we're cruising a year. Now, remember I told you we spent $1,200 to get our status, so I lumped that into a $3,000 figure of what it costs to cruise from the beginning, and then I kind of broke down what else we're spending. So we also are spending, we do internet. So internet, the cheapest way to get internet is to get it when it's on sale, and the same thing with the drink package. So when you book a cruise, don't book the drink package and the internet right away. Make sure you're on the emails and make sure you're waiting until you get either a 40% off or a 45% off email, and book your drink package or your internet then, because usually the internet's like a lot more. I want to say it's like almost $32 per person per day or something crazy. But if you wait till it's on sale, it's like $26 per person. And then don't do per person, just do one person with 2 devices. It's cheaper. Ellis and I do this all the time. And then we just use our phones under the one person's name, but it's 2 devices. And then it ends up only being a total of $44 per person that way for the combined devices. And when you multiply that by the 30 days a year that we're cruising, we're only spending about $780 on internet. Now, gratuities is the next thing I want to break down. Gratuities are $18 per person per day. They're automatically included in your cruise fare, and they're dispersed amongst everybody that takes care of you, like your dining staff and your room steward who's making your bed and stuff. So like you're getting charged that. You can either prepay it or you can have it just billed to you at the end of the week, which is usually what we do. We'll just pay for our cruise and our taxes and port fees, and then we pay for our gratuities later. But out of the 30 days, we are spending a little over $1,000, so it's $1,080 on gratuities. And then when we do drink packages, I actually did this number based on us getting the drink package every time, but we don't always get the drink package every time. I just did this for the sake of the example. But if we did the drink package every time for 30 days, we personally only spend $3,600 a year on unlimited alcohol. Now we don't do that every time. We're actually going on a cruise with our kids on September 1st for a 5-day. And because they made us get 2 rooms, because you can't put more than 4 people in a room, or they make you get a suite or 2 rooms, it's way cheaper to get 2 rooms than a suite. And because Ellis and I aren't in the same room, they didn't make us both get the drink package. If we were in the same room, they don't let one person get the drink package and the other one not. You both have to get it, or else they think people will like trick the system. But since we're in separate rooms, I was able to get the drink package under my name, and then throughout the week, if I wanted to get like an extra pina colada for the kids or something, we're not going to be going crazy with the kids anyways with us. So anyways, all of that to say, only buy the drink package as well when it's 40% off or 45% off when you get that email, because otherwise you'll be spending as much as like $100 to $115 per person per day for your drink package. And if you wait till it's on sale, like I literally just got mine for $59.99 per person per day. And I based this number off that because I always pre-buy the drink package if I know I'm gonna get it when it's on sale at 45%. So when you add all of this up, we're literally spending $10,000 a year or less. Actually, in most cases less, because we're not getting the drink package every time. But we're vacationing 30 days out of the year. Almost all of our cruises are free. We're only paying taxes and port fees. We're paying our gratuities. We're getting the internet most every time because we have to work. So this is just showing you, because a lot of people watching this video, you may not even be getting the drink package every time. You may not even need internet every time, because maybe you're cruising because you're trying to get away from work, get away from life, and get away from everything. My husband's in construction and I'm in real estate, so lots of times we have contracts, we have deals. There's actually a joke that every time I go on vacation, I like get an executed offer. So I always make sure I have the internet package, because at the end of the day, I gotta work, and at the end of the day, I work to provide for my family, but also to provide a fun opportunity for my family of travel. So I hope that this encourages you guys to stretch your dollar, because it is possible to have fun and to have fun for less, and we've learned how to do it. And the cool thing is, for $10,000 or less a year, we can have, depending on how many days we cruise, we could go on as many as 5 to 7 cruises a year. And a lot of people have started to take notice of that and ask me questions, and so I just wanted to break it down for you guys and tell you that you could do it too. I almost completely forgot to mention it, but those figures actually have some cushion for if we were to, one, bring the kids on a cruise, because I was talking about a lot of per person per day, and if we were to go on a cruise that wasn't a free offer. Example, this year we went on Icon, and next year we might try like a Virgin cruise, because we've never done that. So I like to budget like $2,000 extra a year if we do something that's not a free cruise. So our actual budget that I was talking about, I accidentally said $10,000, but it's actually only $8,000 that we stretch all of that to vacation for a minimum of 30 days, depending on how we stretch it. So I hope that encourages you and lets you know that you could do the same thing, because when you break it down per day, that's like your room and board, that's your food, that's your drinks, that's your internet. And a lot of you may not even be getting drinks and internet, so you can literally take that $8,000 number, and if you don't do the drink package, we'll subtract $3,600 from it, and you're still vacationing for 30 days a year for 800 minus 3,600. So you're, for about $4,400 to $4,500 a year, you're cruising and having vacation for almost a month out of the year. You can do that too.